If there's any YouTube moderator watching this stream, yes, I am over the age of 18. Look at this mustache, this beard, my voice. Yeah. Uh yeah, I think it's safe to assume that I am indeed not a minor. Yeah. Even though when I was a teenager before I turned 18, I was constantly told by people that I look older than I really am. Uh, some people I remember in I think freshman year of high school told me that it looked like I was like already 19. So I don't know. Maybe that's a gift or not. I don't know, and I don't really care. I didn't really pay much mind to that back then. But yeah, another stream. It's that time of the month again. Yeah, only one person so far. Wait for people to file on in, I suppose. It's always fun just fucking around with the chat for like 2 hours. Just how long these streams usually are. You look over 25. Yeah, see, there's someone who just said now that I look older than I really am. Just talking about that. Yeah, like I said, when I was in like freshman year of high school, some people were telling me I look 19. And I was like, well, I guess that's a compliment, maybe. Hey fam, hello YouTube user. How you doing? It's the beard. Yeah, it's always the beard. The beard always makes you look older, I suppose. Whenever I get my hair cut, I also get a clean shave. But my beard and mustache always end up growing back within, I don't know, maybe a week at most. Maybe not even. Like, not fully, of course, but within a few days, I already have at least some of a beard and mustache already back. Keck. Okay. So how are all of you doing today on this lovely, lovely Friday? I guess you could call this Friday. Well, I mean, pretty much every day for me is pretty uneventful, so I don't know if I would call it lovely, but maybe this Friday is lovely for you. I don't know. I'm not in your shoes. I don't live your life. I miss 2010 through 2016. Those were good times. Definitely more innocent times, especially 2010 and 2011. Those were the last, I guess you could call, innocent years for me, because 2012 was the year that was the first time I experienced a very tragic loss in someone who I considered a grandfather. He wasn't my biological grandfather, for those of you who don't already know. So yeah, that was difficult. 2013, I mean, I guess that was a good year. It was also my first full year of middle school. I graduated elementary school in 2012, and then began middle school in September of that year. That was also difficult for me, graduating from elementary school and starting anew in an entirely different school. Even though some of the kids I went to elementary school with, well, quite a few of them actually went to my middle school as well. But there were also a lot of kids I didn't know, and I didn't have classes with all the kids I knew in elementary school. So that was, I guess, kind of difficult. Like I said, 2013, nothing really special about that year. Nothing that stands out to me, at least. And in terms of my personal life, I mean, 2014, well, yeah, that was a great year. I don't even know why there was some contemplation there. That was a great year for me personally. 2015, it was all right. I mean, that was the year I graduated middle school, so that was something, I suppose. And began high school. Beginning high school wasn't as difficult as beginning middle school because, I already kind of had experience with transitioning from one school to the next at that point. 2016, it was okay, I guess. And at least talking about, at least in terms of my personal life, online life, the less I think about that year, the better. I was thinking about this. Do you think we'll see a female president? I feel like I'm more likely to make it to 1,000 than to see that happen. I wouldn't entirely rule out ever having a female president, but I don't know if it's going to happen anytime soon. I mean, I know there were a lot of other factors that went into why Kamala lost, but we also undeniably live in a very bigoted and sexist country. I'm sure that her being a female also played a factor into why certain people didn't vote for her. I'm not going to say that was one of the top reasons why she lost or anything, but I feel like unfortunately her being a woman was a strike against her in the eyes of certain people. That doesn't mean we shouldn't run, female candidates if they are actually good candidates. Not saying that should be a disqualifying factor, but I'm just saying we unfortunately live in a very bigoted and sexist country who, unfortunately, a lot of its population don't view women as qualified leaders just on the basis of their gender, which I think is fucking stupid. But that's unfortunately the country we live in, a very backwards country. I remember starting middle school in 2015. I started to grow out of Nintendo, but I was only interested in playing the 3DS. Yeah, 2015 was around the time I started to kind of, well, I don't know if I would say stop caring about Nintendo. I still did care about Nintendo quite a bit in 2015, but I noticed I was kind of starting to care a little less about Nintendo by that point. I think it partially had to do with Miiverse becoming so disillusioned with that platform and getting banned off of it so many times. And Miiverse was really the main reason why I even fucking turned on my Wii U with all the game droughts that, console had. When I started getting, tired of Miiverse and, you know, I just wanted to really get off the platform at that point because I was getting just so fed up with having my posts getting taken down and getting banned and But I was playing on my Wii U less. Again, that also had to do with all the game droughts the Wii U received, and I wasn't playing on my 3DS as much by 2015. 2016, I started to care even less about Nintendo. And then from 2017 to 2020, I just really didn't give a shit about gaming all that much anymore. I was hardly playing games anymore. I didn't really give a shit about new releases and such. I mean, I did give a shit about the Switch because the concept really intrigued me, and I got a Switch in Christmas of 2017, but I didn't play on it that much after the first few months. And then I just kind of completely fell out of the habit of playing games until 2020 when I started collecting GameCube games and playing games regularly because we're quarantined, we're all hunkered down at home, and we all had fuck all to do for the most part. So why not get back into gaming? And ever since I've been playing video games a lot, though I'm mostly a PlayStation player these days. What's up? I had a feeling you'd stream today. I usually get those comments every stream. I guess I'm that predictable. No, I just woke up today and felt like streaming. I was like, it's a Friday. It's been about, I think, a month since my last stream. Why not do a stream today? Fuck it. Trump and Putin are out in Alaska today. Yeah, I heard. Isn't Zelensky there too? First time Putin and Zelensky meet face to face, I believe, in 6 years, I think. YouTube has become evil. It's only become evil now. I think YouTube has been evil for a long time. For me, the Wii U became irrelevant after Splatoon 1 came out. You know, Splatoon 1 was really the last major exclusive. Well, yeah, pretty much the last major exclusive for the Wii U, right? I mean, of course, there were some other big titles the Wii U got afterwards, after 2015, like Mario Maker and I don't know if you could really count Breath of the Wild, since of course that was a cross-gen release between the Wii U and the Switch, but Mario Maker I'd imagine is a more niche title, and the last, like actual exclusive the Wii U got, and it was a the launch of a new franchise on top of that. I would have to imagine Splatoon was the last, major title the Wii U received. Oh yeah, there was Star Fox in 2016. But I think you can't really blame me for forgetting about Star Fox Zero. It really has gone all the days of freedom and creativity. Are you talking about YouTube? Well, I mean, you can still be creative on YouTube. It's just that the algorithm doesn't reward, you know, creative content. It rewards, fucking loud and boisterous nonsense like Mr. Beast, content that appeals to primarily, attention span annihilated children. Hi. Just fun AI story photo shots. How much you want to bet this person is even fucking real? Dead internet theory moment. The Wii U was the lowest selling Nintendo console of all time. Well, I mean, technically the Virtual Boy sold even worse than the Wii U, but I mean, I don't know if you could really count that, since the Virtual Boy was never like, a mainline console or handheld console. More like just an experiment that failed. But obviously, in terms of Nintendo's mainline products, the Wii U is the worst selling Nintendo console. It's unfortunate. I like the Wii U. I mean, the Wii U hasn't really gotten the same reverence the GameCube has. Long after the GameCube's lifespan, people now coveted as one of the best game consoles of all time. The Wii U hasn't really received that. I mean, I'm not saying the Wii U was one of the best consoles of all time or anything, but I would think, now that we're this far removed from the Wii U's lifespan, people would kind of come around to the console and be like, you know what, the Wii U wasn't that bad. But I see a lot of Wii U hate online, people saying it was a piece of shit that deserved to fail. I'm like, I don't know. That's a little too harsh. I mean, obviously, Nintendo did a piss poor job at marketing the console, and people were, by the time the Wii U launched, people were pretty tired of the Wii brand by that point. So there were a lot of, major mistakes Nintendo made. Not saying the console was perfect, but I think it's better than a lot of people give it credit for, at least. Console that unfortunately never got to, fulfill its full potential. I played mainly on the 3DS. I had Miiverse on there and all of my favorite games, so it was good enough for me. Yeah, I played mostly on my Wii U. The virtual console library was a big help in, keeping me occupied. Having giving me games to play during all those big droughts the Wii U received. That and Miiverse, but talking purely about games, yeah. The virtual console library definitely helped you know quench my thirst. Stopped using Miiverse in 2016 after I started using Twitter to follow some YouTubers. I joined Twitter in that same year as well, I think, in 2016. Now I don't look at Twitter anymore because fuck using Twitter. I cared less about Mario Maker, Smash 4 DLCs. I remember when OBA was still ranting about Nintendo games. Yeah. Smash 4. I remember I got the 3DS version at launch, and then I got the no, I didn't get the Wii U version for Christmas. I don't know if I got the Wii U version at launch. I think close to launch, I believe. Back when I pretended to give a shit about Smash. I mean, I really tried to get into the franchise, but I just don't give a shit about fighting games. Just not my genre. For me, Smash is only fun when you have other people to play it with. Like, I've played it quite a few times with my cousins, my little cousin, and I also have two cousins that are twins that are older than me. They're also big Nintendo fans, and coincidentally, also big fans of the GameCube. So they have a copy of Melee, and sometimes they come over and they bring their copy and put it in my GameCube, and we all play it together, and that's fun. But when I'm playing Smash by myself, I really don't give a shit. Not really. That's why I'm not in any hurry to add Melee to my GameCube collection if I ever do, because I just don't care about Smash. I mean, I made a video about this like 6 years ago. Remember that made a lot of people mad for some reason, but it's just the truth. I just don't care about the franchise. I used to pretend to care about it because everyone I talked to online and even a lot of my real life friends love the fuck out of Smash games, and I didn't want to feel left out. But fuck that shit. These days I don't really care about not having the, I guess, popular opinion, or I don't really care about fitting in or any of that stupid bullshit. Life is too short to fixate on dumb shit like that. Sacrifice what you really think and who you really are just because you want to fit in. It's funny how Star Fox Zero came out the same month OBA was arrested. Didn't it come out like a week after he was arrested? Just barely missed. No, the, it's so funny how that happened. How it released like literally right after he got arrested, and he was so hyped to play that game. Ooh, who knows what he would have thought about the game if he got to play it? Maybe he has played it by now. I don't fucking know. Probably. It would have been funny if he made a video ranting about how disappointing the game was, though. After being so hyped for it for like, what, 2 or 3 years? Never cared about Star Fox all that much. Well, I mean, I do like 64, and I also like Star Fox Assault, the one that was on the GameCube. Adventures, I don't really care about that game. I've played it, and yeah, it was a Star Fox game in name only. I mean, if you're even familiar with the development cycle of that game, yeah, Star Fox as a franchise, I'm not really like crazy over. Like, certain other Nintendo franchises like, Metroid or Mother or Zelda. I can't believe next year marks 10 years since OBA's last video. Yeah, it's wild how it's already almost a decade since he was arrested, and already almost a decade since he uploaded his last video. That last video being the fucking Batman movie review or whatever. I never actually watched his final video in full. OBA, aka what is the meaning of this? I could do my best impression of that, but I'd rather not blow my voice out this early in the stream. He's probably hidden from the public after his probation. I can't see OB moving on from Nintendo. I mean, I'm sure he's still playing Nintendo games. He probably has a Switch, maybe a Switch 2 even. But I at this point, I highly doubt he's ever gonna come back and upload on his channel. I mean, I guess never say never, but I mean, his probation ended like what 4 years ago now, or at least that's when it should have ended, assuming he didn't, violate his probation or anything. But yeah, I would think he has the common sense to not upload on his channel anymore now that his entire audience knows that you know he's a pedophile and had such an obscene amount of CSAM. My brother and my cousin had Wii U's. It wasn't really that bad, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of fond memories surrounding the Wii U. I mean, if I didn't have a Wii U, I wouldn't even be doing this live stream right now, more than likely. Or at the very least, this channel would probably be very different from from how it is. None of the people in this chat would probably be watching me. Well, I don't know, maybe, you know, I'm sure, I've absolutely gotten, quite a few, people, fans over the years who didn't come from the Miiverse content and, found me through my more, recent videos. So maybe some people who watch me, in this reality would still be watching me in an alternate reality if I, never made the Miiverse videos and never had a Wii U to begin with. So I have a lot to be thankful for when it comes to the Wii U. I mean, like I've said before, Miiverse was the first platform I had any type of following on. Um, I did have a YouTube channel before this one that no one watched. While people watched Tom and Jerry episodes, I would upload onto there. Those garnered like millions of views, but when it came to the actual content that I made, those probably got like maybe 12 views. I also uploaded onto Flipnote Atena. Anyone remember that? And did anyone even use that? It was online feature that the drawing app that came with the DSi Flipnote Studio had. That was a really cool platform. Too bad Nintendo killed it off after only like a few years of it existing. But that's Nintendo for you. Never even bothered to try to revive that on the 3DS. Or hell, even the Wii U. That could have worked on the Wii U as well. But yeah, I would upload terrible flip notes onto there. I had no drawing skills back then. I still have no drawing skills now. But at least I'm not trying to like, upload horrible doodles like I did back then. Yeah, as you can imagine, I had no audience on there as well. So, Miiverse was the first platform I had, online friends on and some type of following on, and it was cool. And that was a precursor for this YouTube channel that I'm obviously I'm not huge or anything, but I'm still very happy and proud of, what I've built on this channel over the years. Like I'm happy that I, can do these live streams of me just fucking laying down in bed, and there are people who will watch that and interact with me in the chat for like 2 hours. So beyond thankful for that. What are your thoughts on the Schlep Roblox scandal? I don't know what that is. I don't pay attention to Roblox. Not really. I have a little cousin who liked Roblox. He's 12 now. He just turned 12 last month, so I think he kind of grew out of Roblox by this point. He was like the only link I had to Roblox because when he was like 7 or 8, that was what he would play all the time. Uh, he comes to my house every once in a blue moon when his cousin, uh, when my cousin, I mean, who is his grandmother, comes to take care of her father. She drops him off here while she goes and takes care of her father for the day, which is every once in a while. She lives out in Jersey, so she doesn't live that close. But yeah, she usually drops him off here, and I'm not the best around kids, but I would say me and him have bonded quite a bit. You know, he's not the loud and rowdy kid that I can't stand, or at least not anymore. That was him when he was like 7 or 8, but before him, I didn't think I could have any type of positive relationship with a child, but him, I mean, I'm not gonna say like we're super close or anything, but I've gotten him into the GameCube, and we played games together, and did shit like that, and I kind of had a good time. I was like, you know what, I am capable of having I guess a positive interaction with a child, so long as it's not all the time or anything. But yeah, he used to play Roblox all the time, and he would have me sometimes play it, which is only fair. I mean, he would play the games that I play sometimes, so why not make me play the games that he played sometimes? I felt like Nintendo was going to repeat the same mistakes with the Switch 2. It should have been called the Super Nintendo Switch. That would have been a better name, in all honesty. But I can see why Nintendo played it safe and just called the Switch 2 the Switch 2. They didn't want a repeat of the Wii U. But people haven't really felt the same fatigue surrounding the Switch that they did surrounding the Wii by the time the Wii U came out. So I think going with a different name besides Switch 2 wouldn't have been that detrimental, in my opinion. Have you listened to Sleep Token? I don't believe I have. I haven't used Twitter since 2022. To hell with it. You're better than me because I stopped using Twitter full stop after the election last year. I am perfectly happy on Blue Sky. Not the most active on Blue Sky, but I was never the most active on Twitter either, so whatever. Ah, the chat, for whatever reason, it went all the way to the bottom. I have to find where's the message I left off at. Here we go. Smash 4 was overhyped back in 2013 to 2015. Yeah, I remember a lot of hype surrounding that game. That's kind of what, made me pretend to be a Smash Bros. Fan. Well, at that point in 2013, I only played Melee like a handful of times. I had a friend who had Melee, and there were a few times where I went to his house and we played Melee together. He had a GameCube at the time as well. I haven't spoken to that friend in 10 plus years. I don't even know if he still has the GameCube. But, I had somewhat of a fun time playing with him, and there were even parties where uh, a bunch of friends would play Melee together, and I would try to play with them as well, and that was kind of sort of fun, but I didn't really care for it that much. And I remember when Ultimate released, there was a kid that quite a few of my friends already had Switches by then, and when Ultimate came out, oh my god, every fucking morning they would play Ultimate together, but in the cafeteria before class would start. And I would feel like the odd one out because I'd just be sitting there watching them play because, I did play along with them a few times, and I kind of had fun. But again, I don't really care about Smash Bros. Games all that much, and I always felt like the odd one out because I was like the only one in my friend group that didn't care for Smash. I remember when everyone wanted Shrek and Smash on Miiverse. Yeah, I remember when Shrek was a very big meme in like 2014, Miiverse especially. People were making Shrek jokes out the ass. What was the fucking meme? Love Shrek or Shrek is love, Shrek is life. Yeah, I probably just like unlocked hidden memories within some of you, probably. Yeah, simpler times. I remember I was looking up Meverse videos around the time I made the OBA video a few months ago in June. I came across one video called something Meverse was peak or something like that. Some person's Meverse retrospective, and the personality was kind of annoying. There was uh some portions of the video where the person was using autism as a pejorative, but aside from that, the only reason I'm bringing this video up is because at the very end they used a clip from one of my old Meverse videos. I don't even know which fucking Meverse video this was from, but in the clip I said something like, I don't know why anyone would want to play Call of Duty or something like that. I don't know the context, but that was so fucking weird seeing that at the end of the video. Wasn't expecting that. 10 plus years later, I still don't fucking care about Call of Duty. I mean, maybe I would play COD games, but every fucking COD game is like, what, 200 gigabytes or some shit like that? No, thank you. I only play Smash with friends. Yeah, that's really only when Smash is kind of fun for me. I never cared about fitting in. I like who I am, especially now since my mental health is better. Good for you. I mean, I think more people should adopt that mentality. Life is too short to care about fitting in or being like other people. Be yourself, probably only have one life, so why not live it the way you choose to? So long as, of course, it's within reason, you're not harming anyone in the process. I remember he crashed out after the game got delayed and said he was done with Nintendo forever. OBA after Star Fox got delayed. Yeah, that only lasted like what, a week before he was making me Nintendo videos again. Didn't the police take away his electronics after his arrest? Yeah, they did. He was prohibited from at least using the internet for a few years after his prison sentence was over and he was on probation. The last time I looked, well, this wasn't the last time I looked at the comment section under his last video, but the last time I actually like read through it for longer than like I don't know a minute was when people thought that his probation was up. I remember like I think it was what the fucking seventh anniversary of his arrest. People thought that was for sure the day his probation would be up, and there were like 15 people in the comment section being like, "Today's the day. Let's see if he comes back." Wah wah wah. That ended up not happening. I tried getting into Metroid, but I didn't really like how I enjoyed Pokemon. I love Metroid. It's one of my favorite Nintendo franchises. Well, actually, it balances between. It's more like a three-way tie between Metroid, Mother, and Zelda when it comes to my favorite Nintendo franchise. Some days it's Mother, some days it's Metroid, some days it's Zelda. But I love Metroid a lot. Pokemon I've actually never played. Is that saying true? Where the sayings where people say if you didn't enjoy Pokemon as a kid, or if you didn't play Pokemon as a kid, you'll never get into it as an adult. I don't know how much credence that saying has, but I mean, I guess I wouldn't be opposed to ever playing a Pokemon game, but I'm not really that interested in the Pokemon personally. I remember playing a fan translation ROM of the canceled Star Fox 2 before it got officially released. Yeah, it was cool that Nintendo just put. I had a burp coming, but it stayed inside. But yeah, it was cool that Nintendo released Star Fox 2 officially on the Switch's online service. That was a very, I guess, un-Nintendo type of move. But the game was finished, right? It's not like they were like, just releasing a half-finished game, or at least mostly finished. OBA missed out a lot of stuff like Batman, Nintendo, PS5. Didn't he hate PlayStation? I don't think he would care about the PS5. He did get a PS4 because he wanted to play, I think, Destiny. But then he made a video saying, "Oh, the PS4 is garbage. Destiny is garbage. I wasted my money." So your video officially exposing OBA will turn 8 tomorrow. The 10-year anniversary. Oh wait, when it first broke that he did indeed get arrested. Now I know what you were talking about. I thought you were talking about the fucking Ryu response video, and I was like, no, that just recently turned 10. No. And will turn 10 on August 16th, 2027. Yeah, I didn't even know that video's anniversary was just right around the corner, literally tomorrow. Time flies. If Mad Thad came back after being in prison for CSAM charges, I have a feeling OBA might. Well, OBA might have more common sense than whoever else you're talking about. Maybe. That's not really giving him a lot of credit, though. Yo, hello, Bother Me None. How you doing? I remember Mad Thad commented on your OBA exposed video 6 years ago. Oh. um, well, That's something, I suppose. I don't know how I'm supposed to react to someone who went to prison for possessing child porn commenting under my videos. I mean, I already had that. OBA commented on my old face reveal. I feel like OBA and Meverse are the main reasons why we're here now. Well, it's the main reason why I'm making videos right now, pretty much. Him and Meverse. I had a lot of friends on Meverse back then. Great memories. Not really great memories when the admins came to ruin the fun. Yeah, that was really why I left Meverse. That and the whole update that restricted on how many posts and comments you can make in a day. I was kind of growing out of Meverse. I was getting tired of getting banned all the time and getting posts taken down. And at that point, I was already making YouTube videos, and I enjoyed making the videos way more than I enjoyed making posts. So I felt like it was time to move on. I remember I had a friend group on Meverse from 2013 to 2016. Well, I had a friend group on Meverse from 2014, well, really 2014 and 2015. 2013, I wasn't making the ranting posts yet. Well, I began making them in that year, but it wasn't until 2014 when I, started actually, making friends on there and having a little following on there, if you want to call it a following. I remember OBA also had something on his monitor in one video and said top secret, foreshadowing. I knew your rant on Go Anime from 2015. Was that your first video that you saw from me? Yeah, I've had some people tell me that they found me through the Go Animate videos from back in the day. Now Go Animate doesn't even exist anymore, right? Or it's called something else, I believe. Forget. But yeah, it's been many years since I gave a shit about Go Animate. Well, I never really gave a shit about Go Animate to begin with. Never used the software. I mean, I did watch some Go Animate videos from time to time back then, but it was all the same fucking garbage. You're grounded for X amount of time, or you're getting punished, or whatever. Yeah, not really content I was into at all. All that much, at least. I used to come home from school every day and watch OBA's newest gaming videos at the time. Yeah, that's what I used to do as well. I had an iPod Touch at the time that I didn't bring to school, so I would go home and, usually be greeted by like 5 new OBA videos that he would upload during the day. The Roblox guy recently got banned from Roblox for catching predators and getting them arrested. I think I heard something about that. I think someone posted something regarding that on my Discord server. That's really something. Why did they get banned? Like, what was the exact reason why they got banned? Like, that's actually like really fucking terrible. Like, someone is exposing predators on your platform, and instead of punishing the predators, the person exposing the predators get punished. Oh my god. I played Roblox a lot in my teen years. It was fun. I've I only played Roblox when my cousin would force me to play Roblox, and I don't know. I didn't really know what the fuck I was doing, so didn't really have much fun. Mikey's cousin, Gen Alpha Mikey. Well, his name is Frankie actually, but yeah, I think he is Gen Alpha. He was born in 2013. That's Gen Alpha began what, 2010, 2011. I remember when he was born. Well, I wasn't there when he was being born, but I remember I first saw him when he was only like a few months old when we had a family gathering. He was an infant. Now he's 12. Oof, time flies. The Schlepp Roblox scandal is about him exposing predators on Roblox and how Roblox banned him and sent a cease and desist. Wow. It's like unambiguously awful. Yeah, we don't give a shit about the predators that are running rampant on our platform because they give us traction and they probably make up a significant portion of our user base. To be honest, the state of predator catching is sad. Most people do it for clout, and the ones that end up getting these monsters arrested end up getting punished in some way. Yeah, I mean, I'm still pretty disillusioned by predator catching content myself. A lot of it is, like you said, just for getting clout. They don't actually care about putting away predators and exposing predators. They just care about, the positive reception that they get for exposing these predators. And a lot of these people, they don't even fucking do the whole predator catching thing responsibly. Like they treat it as just a big fucking joke. Oh, the chat went all the way to the bottom again. Now I have to scroll back and see where I left off. You seem father material. No, I am not father material. Oof. No, just because I interact with a little with my little cousin every like once every few months, maybe. Yeah, that hardly constitutes as father material, at least in my book. I mean, he's a good kid. He kind of taught me that I don't hate kids as much as I thought previously. But no, I still absolutely do not want a child. There were times where I would be out at gatherings and would introduce some kids to 90s and 2000s rock, my favorite eras of music. Sometimes my little cousin has listened to the music I listen to because there would be times where I'd be wearing earbuds and he would ask me what I'm listening to and I would play whatever I'm currently playing for him. Uh One time I was listening to Pink Floyd. Forget which Pink Floyd song specifically. I know it was one of their earlier songs. But he listened to it and he actually kind of liked it. I was proud of him in that moment. But I'm mostly proud that I got him to like the GameCube. I remember when he was like 8, he wanted a GameCube of his own, but he never got one. Oh well, he can easily emulate GameCube games anyway if he wants to go that route. Shrek is love, Shrek is life. I remember that meme. Wasn't Shrek around since 2001? Yes, it was. And my mom told me that her and my dad took me to see Shrek around the time it came out, which was only like a month after I was born. So I was a newborn back then. Obviously, I have no memory of seeing the first movie at all when it was initially in theaters, but I can say that I saw the first Shrek movie when it was still in theaters, technically. I've seen every Shrek movie in theaters. I saw the second one when it was in theaters. I vaguely remember that. I saw the third one when it was in theaters. I remember that a little more clearly. And I saw the last one, the fourth one, when that was in theaters. I went with a group of friends to see that movie. I was in elementary school. I remember that pretty clearly. That was fun. I guess that means I have to go watch the fifth one when it comes out in theaters if I want to, you know, be able to say that I've seen every Shrek movie when it was in theaters. I doubt I will. I go back sometimes and watch Miiverse videos, including OBA videos. The last time I binged his Miiverse videos was when I made the video, the retrospective or whatever you want to call it. Me talking about, my experience of being a fan of his and shit. Before that, I hadn't binged his Miiverse videos in a while. Oh, Connor Webb, 99 cents in I think that's Canadian currency, right? Maybe. Wow. Wasn't expecting to receive money in this stream. Thank you. Sure, I'll give it a heart. Thank you for throwing money my way. That rarely happens in these streams. Oh, baby, we got money. We got 99 cents. Oh, even if someone just pitched in even 1 cent, I'd be thankful for that. That's why I'm still part of the partner program because every once in a blue moon, people send me money in these streams, and I am eternally grateful for that. Spend that 99 cents wisely. Well, I mean, I don't actually receive money from Google until I reach up to I think $100. That only ever happened once in the past a few years ago. I remember I spent most of that money on the GameCube version of Twilight Princess. So thank you for that to those who donated to me in the past and contributed to that money I spent on Twilight Princess. That OBA arrested guy still camps in OBA's last video's comments. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I'm surprised that guy hasn't commented under my recent video about him. Was totally expecting that, but they haven't. Well, I do have a sneaking suspicion who that person really is, but I'm not gonna get into that here. I just find that kind of sad, though. Like, you have a whole channel dedicated to some irrelevant pedophile that was arrested nearly 10 years ago, who was, in the grand scheme of things, never relevant on YouTube to begin with. And yet your whole online presence is centered around that person. I just find that really sad. If you don't want me to kick your teeth down your throat, I'd stop. He still comments on his videos. Earthbound is the older brother of Pokemon. Yeah, a lot of the same devs who worked on Earthbound also worked on Pokemon, on the Pokemon games. Yeah, that kind of, I guess that's all the more reason for me to get into Pokemon, right? I'm sure they're quite a few similarities between the two franchises. Mother is one of my favorite video game franchises of all time, and strangely enough, I've never cared about Pokemon when, again, a lot of the same devs who worked on at least the older Pokemon titles also worked on Earthbound. Imagine if the Mother series was big like Pokemon. Oh, it'd probably still be going today. That would be nice, I guess, if the franchise was that popular. But I don't know. I mean, I'm fine with it just being a trilogy. I'm not like craving more Mother games or anything. If each way feels like the story is done, then the story is done. I don't want them to just, crank out Mother games and, they end up being subpar. Being obsessed with OBA and the Big 25 is crazy. Yeah, I do find it crazy that there are people, for whatever reason, who have entire channels dedicated to him. Media with female protagonists are so cool, such as My Life as a Teenage Robot. Screw people who say it's woke. Is there really controversy surrounding that show? I figured that show was probably like grandfathered in since it's from like what, the early 2000s, so people don't really consider it woke since it came before all the big culture war bullshit. I'm sure people would call that show woke if it were to come out today. Maybe. I mean, I used to like watching that show when I was a kid. It wasn't one of my favorite cartoons or anything, but I did really enjoy it. It's been like 10 plus years since I've seen an episode of that show, though. Star Fox 2 was fully complete, but they axed it to focus on the Nintendo 64 and Star Fox 64. I actually don't really know much about Star Fox 2. Never played it. Maybe I'll play it someday. I mean, I am subscribed to the basic tier of Nintendo's online service, so I can play it since it's an SNES game. Never played the OG Star Fox game either. Only played four Star Fox games actually. 64, Adventures, Assault, and Zero. And it was really only 64 and Assault that I like. I tried to like Adventures, but I'm not really a fan of the whole Zelda clone thing, and Star Fox Adventures is essentially being a completely different title entirely, just with Star Fox slapped on it. Though Adventures has some very pretty graphics for its time, though. It came out like what, a month after the GameCube launched. By the way, I'm now going to stay in my aunt's house for 2 months. Then we're moving straight to Georgia. Oh yeah, you live in Florida, right? I think you've mentioned that in previous streams. Well, good on you for finally getting out of Florida. Jesus, I mean, I have been to Florida, and the scenery is nice, but I would not want to live there. Not just because of the horrendous politics, but also, like the weather. For me, it's a nice place to visit, but certainly not to live in. I'm gonna pack a bowl. Nice. Those admins were the worst, and only 30 posts a day. What kind of nonsense is that? Well, I mean, now that I'm older, I can understand why me versus moderation was so strict. I mean, to a point, there were some, still some pretty silly rules and takedowns, but it was a children's social media site after all, so I can understand why the moderation was so strict. I think it's, that's the sensible thing to have on a service that's mostly catered to kids. Strict moderation. I remember when OBA made his website that was just plagiarized my Nintendo News articles and his story. I wouldn't be surprised if like portions of his story were plagiarized as well. Go Animate is called a Beyond now. Oh yeah, Beyond. Yeah. Is the Go Animate community even still really much of a thing? I doubt it. But I mean, who knows? I haven't really looked at that community in like what, almost 10 years now. My first video I saw from you was your Go Animate rant and your rant on Daddy05. Yeah, Daddy05. I wonder what he's up to these days. Yeah, that was those videos, those videos of him essentially abusing his kids really struck a nerve with me, particularly because I mean my father was never like, physically abusive or anything, not to me. Um but he did shout at me a lot and say things that he really shouldn't have said to a kid, as young as I was back then. And I'll just leave it at that. And watching those videos kind of, made me kind of relive those memories. It really affected me. And to see, someone like that, having such a popular channel with so many fans also really disgusted me. I'm glad, the entire YouTube community kind of banded against him. And he got the two kids that he had with another woman who before the one he was currently married to taken away from him. Yeah, Go Animate is now Beyond, but Gotcha is now the big thing. I think I heard of Gotcha, but I barely know what the fuck it is. I remember I used to enjoy Go Anime from the Caillou and Dora videos in third grade. I found those videos mildly amusing when I was like, I don't know, a freshman in middle school, and then I quickly grew out of that because it was just the same fucking thing over and over again. And I didn't really find it entertaining. You're grounded, grounded, grounded for 600 billion years. Now go to your room. Luckily, I didn't get the fucking chat. It went all the way back to the bottom again. Here we go. Luckily, I didn't get the ID thing. Yeah, I haven't been hit with that either. But again, I've paid for YouTube Premium, and apparently you're like exempt from having to show your ID because YouTube already has your payment information. So it can deduce that you're an adult from that. But even still, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm still hit with the fucking um age verification bullshit in spite of that. Because like I've already said, some of my videos get flagged for not being advertiser friendly when none of the 1,500 videos on my channel are monetized. I'm part of the partner program, but I do not monetize any of my videos because I know they'd be demonetized. I know even if they were monetized, I would hardly get any fucking money off of my videos because look at the views I average. Like, so I don't really see much of a reason to monetize my videos. And also, I just fucking hate ads, so I don't want any of you to suffer through ads watching my videos just out of principle. The only reason I'm even still part of the partner program is because sometimes people throw money my way during these streams, and I really appreciate that. Again, thank you, Connor, for the 99 cents. Really appreciate it. Even though Google takes a cut, a pretty deep cut, so it's not going to be the whole 99 cents I'm receiving, but whatever. I'm still thankful regardless. Predators, I'm sorry, please use the term shark bait. Well, what? I don't really see what's wrong with calling online predators predators. Opinion on the free schlep thing. Apparently, from what people are saying in the chat, it's some predator hunter that's been exposing Roblox predators, and then he got banned for exposing the predators. And I assume the predators he exposed are not punished at all. Yeah, that's bad. I mean, I don't really know much about the situation. I think some people were talking about it in my Discord server the other day, but I didn't really look into it myself. But yeah, if you want my very, very brief and not very knowledgeable opinion on the subject, yeah, that's bad. We are in Gen Beta now. I'm a 22-year-old senior citizen. Yeah, Gen Beta apparently started when this year began, right? I remember people talking about that a lot when we were entering 2025. Holy shit, a new generation is about to begin. Wow. Um, what an unfortunately named generation though. Gen Beta. You're no doubt going to have a lot of kids who are within Gen Beta be teased for that when they get older. Probably by the Gen Alpha kids. We're alphas and you're betas. Poor kids. I remember when a predator poacher was killed 3 years ago. I didn't hear anything about a predator catcher being killed. Well, what was he killed by one of the predators were they killed by one of the predators they were going after? I have a little cousin who was born in 2018. Your little cousin is 5 years younger, or around 5 years younger than my little cousin. My other little cousin was born in March of 2009, and the same with my little brother. Well, then your cousin is 16 years old now. 8 years younger than me. I was born in March of 2001. My favorite solo artists are Serge Tankian, Jerry Cantrell, and Morgan Cuperchio. Probably butchering that. Well, Serge, obviously from System of a Down, Jerry from Alice in Chains, but admittedly, I have not heard much of their solo work, especially Jerry's. Though I love both System of a Down and Alice in Chains, so maybe I should check out, some of the members' solo work. Maybe you can use that money for donation, like Palestine. Yeah, perhaps. Well, it's gonna be a while till I get to the $100 threshold that you know which is when Google finally actually pays you. I can help you get to that $100. I appreciate it, but no pressure. I occasionally send random streamers 99 cents because I'm a millionaire and want to spread the gold. Well, well, if you're a millionaire, throw a lot more money my way, please. I'm joking. That OBA arrested guy is sub to both of us. Well, I'm sure that person is subscribed to me, but I'm kind of glad that they don't comment onto my videos, especially the recent OBA video, because I think it's really fucking weird to have a channel that's centered around OBA in the year 2025. How thoughtful, Connor Webb. Yeah, very, very thoughtful. I don't know, but it kind of surprises me that Earthbound is older than Pokemon. Well, I've always known that Earthbound is older than Pokemon, and Earthbound was kind of a precursor for Pokemon, at least in some respects. So, that fact doesn't really weird me out or surprise me or anything. July 11th was the 10th anniversary of Iwata's death, speaking of the Mother series. Yeah, the 10th anniversary just passed recently, last month. It's really fucking wild how it's already been that long. I mean, I remember when I first learned that Iwata passed away. I was talking to a Miiverse friend. I think it was Justin on Miiverse, and he told me out of the blue in the middle of our conversation. He's like, "Oh shit, Iwata just died. The news just broke," and I was like, "What?" Yeah, that was just shocking. And now it's already been 10 years. God, I'm eternally grateful for Iwata, especially for you know, um, being a huge aid in Earthbound's development because Earthbound was in development hell, right? It was almost not going to release, and then Iwata really pushed to help get that game released, and helped develop the game. So I'm very, very thankful that he helped save one of my favorite games of all time. Conquer only got 3 games, one of them a remake of the second one, and the first one was on the Game Boy Color. I don't really know much about the Conquer franchise, so I never played a Conquer game. So I didn't know there was a Game Boy Color game. Did Conquer's Bad Fur Day ever get a release on the Wii U's Virtual Console? Or even the Switch's online service? I forget, honestly. It's crazy my life as a teenage robot came out the same year and day I was born. Oh, really? How old is that show? My life. August 1st, 2003. I thought the show's a little younger than that. I thought it was from like 2005. Aired until 2009. Wow. Yeah, I remember catching reruns of that show and watching it, and I enjoyed it. Wasn't like super, super into it or anything, but I liked the show. Hear a lot of good things about my life as a teenage robot. here on the internet, though. A lot of people who seem to like it way more than I did as a kid back then. Maybe I should watch that show someday again. I don't know. One show or one cartoon, I mean, that I will forever kick myself for just dismissing as boring as a kid is Avatar: The Last Airbender. Only watched it in full once a few years ago. Well, actually, more like 5 years ago at this point. I'm planning on rewatching it again one of these days. But I remember whenever that show would come on Nickelodeon when I was a kid, I'd be like, oh, it's Avatar. That show is so boring. Because I was more into, shows like SpongeBob and, you know, shows that didn't have any overarching plot, more fast paced and, zany. But no, that the Avatar: The Last Airbender is fucking great, and shame on my 5-year-old self for thinking the show was boring. I'm not referring to My Life as a Teenage Robot specifically, but general media that has female protagonists. And I get what you mean. A lot of media these days that have female protagonists get unfairly maligned as woke, even though since like the inception of media, we've had female leads. It's only just a recent phenomenon that that's seen as woke. A lot of famous movies from decades prior or famous shows or video games and any piece of media you could imagine that has that has had female protagonists would be you know labeled as woke today. Like if Metroid fucking debuted today, i'm sure you'd have I'm sure you'd have some fuckheads here online just dismissing the this franchise as woke just based on it having a female lead, one of the most badass female leads in video games, might I add. My Life as a Teenage Robot is my favorite Nicktoon of all time, and the only thing I like from Nick. Is it really the only cartoon you like from Nick? You don't even like SpongeBob or some of the other classic Nicktoons? I mean, I do personally like Cartoon Network way more than Nick. Cartoon Network has more shows that I go back to and still enjoy to this day as opposed to Nick. So I guess I can kind of get that. The last episode of Jimmy Neutron aired on the day I was born, November 25th, 2006. Wow. Yeah, Jimmy Neutron debuted the show. I mean, of course, the movie was from like what 2000, 2001, but the show, I think 2002. I think I was already born when, well, I was already born. I was definitely already born by the time the show aired because I think the movie came out either a little after or a little before I was born. Yeah, I loved Jimmy Neutron as a kid. Used to watch that show all the time. It was one of my favorite Nicktoons back in the day. I still do watch. I occasionally I do watch Jimmy Neutron clips from time to time on YouTube. It's kind of funny though. The same voice actress who voices Cindy in Jimmy Neutron. Obviously, she also voices Sandy in SpongeBob as well. But she also voiced Ashley in the original RE4, Resident Evil 4. And every time I hear Cindy's voice, it's like all I could fucking hear is Ashley because I played that game so many times at this point, and it's pretty much the same voice. I remember when Star Fox 2 was released for the SNES Classic. IGN reviewed it as if it were a modern game and said it deserved to be canceled. Oh yeah, I think I remember hearing at least some controversy surrounding IGN's review of Star Fox 2. Does anyone even take IGN's review seriously? I would think if a game gets a bad review from IGN, that's usually like a sign that it's actually a good game. Because the whole joke about video game journalists not knowing what the fuck they're talking about. I don't really give reviews that much credence anyway. I mean, sometimes I like watching reviews, admittedly, to like validate my opinion on certain things, but I don't like to like base my view on pieces of media on reviews because I think that's kind of silly. Like I'm playing The Last of Us right now. I just finished the main campaign last night, and I'm playing the DLC now, Left Behind. Last of Us 2, alongside the first game, is one of my favorite games of all time. If I purely base my opinion around online reviewers, I would hate that game without even fucking playing it. I wouldn't even give it a fair shot because like most of the internet hates that game and I personally love that game. So I really don't like giving much credence to online reviews. At least I don't really view online reviews as nothing more than, entertainment and something I like to watch. If I already like a piece of media and want to hear someone else's perspective on it and perhaps, feel validated in my opinion a little bit. Crazy how Adventures was originally an N64 game unaffiliated with Star Fox. Yeah, didn't that game finally leak a few years ago? Or a build for it? It should have stayed, what was it called? Dinosaur Planet originally? It should have stayed that. Because, like, the whole Star Fox elements feel so tacked on. I'm not opposed to an on foot Star Fox game, but, that game just felt so not Star Fox. Like you had some R wing segments, like when you were traveling from one world to the next, that only lasted like what, a minute. Spoiler alert, I guess. At the very, very, very fucking end of the game, Andros makes this surprise appearance, and he's like, "Oh, I'm actually the big bad, not the big bad you thought was going to be the big bad for the whole fucking game until the last 5 minutes." Yeah, I didn't really like that. Let me change my position. I'm uncomfortable now. There we go. I'm from Essex County, New Jersey, but will hopefully be moving out to Warren County at some point, hopefully before 2026. Best of luck with the move. I have personally never moved once in my life. I've lived in the same house, and I'm fine with where I live. I like this house. It's what I'm used to. Some people think it's so crazy that I have never moved because I know some people who have moved multiple times in their lives and they're like, wow, you've lived in the same house your entire life. You're so fucking lucky. And then they tell me how like awful the moving process is and all that. And I don't know, maybe I'll experience that someday, but I've managed to dodge that for 24 years so far. I remember when Go Anime Kids videos punishing and grounding the CEO and founder of the site founder after the site started to pivot to be business focused and removed the non-business themes. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can't really blame the CEO for wanting to change the image of that site a little bit because, I'd imagine you don't want your animation software to be associated with like little kids punishing baby show characters. Because wasn't Go Animate originally made for like businesses and such? And then you had all these kids using it. ground baby show characters, yeah, I'd probably want to pivot my software too. Apparently, Daddy05 reunited with the kids he abused. There's videos about it. The kid Cody was telling the haters to fuck off. Oh, well, I mean, how old is Cody now? Well, he's like what, 17 now, 18 maybe. I mean, I've managed to forgive my dad. I mean, my dad was never as bad as Daddy05 was, but my dad wasn't a great father when I was a little kid as well. But I've since reunited with him and patched things up with him. And if he is able to patch things up with his father, then there's nothing really much I could say because I've been in that position as well. I can't judge him or say that he shouldn't do that when again I've been able to let bygones be bygones with my father. So I guess more respect, more power to him. If Daddy05 is able to clean his act up, then good. I mean, my father still has his share of problems, but he was in a much worse place back when I was a kid than where he is now. My dad was very scary when he yelled at me as a kid, so I feel your pain. Yeah, I was scared of my dad too. Like, I remember I would refuse to eat certain foods during dinner, like broccoli, and my dad would scream at me to eat. And I mean, I know that's the point, to scare your kid into doing the right thing, but it really didn't do much for me. It only made me scared of my father. It didn't make me all of a sudden start eating healthy. Once again, I lost my place. Fucking hate the little chat window. Here we go. And La Mona Lisa's husband went missing too last year and hasn't been seen since. Is he really still missing? Holy shit. I know, I already knew that happened because some people commented on my old La Mona Lisa videos around the time her current husband went missing, saying that he went missing. And I did kind of want to make a video about that, but I was like, you know what? Maybe this is just a freak coincidence. Maybe she really didn't have anything to do with this. And that could still very well be the case if the dude's still missing and we don't know the circumstances surrounding his disappearance. So I don't want to jump the gun or anything, at least not until anything concrete comes out, if anything concrete ever comes out. But yeah, I mean, I hope the guy is all right, but then again, it's been like what, a year now since he went missing. Yeah, that doesn't bode well. There have been efforts to preserve the old themes with locally ran tools in a special version of Chromium with the Google features stripped out and an old version of Flash Player without the time bomb. Well, that's neat, I suppose. But I assume the Go Anime community has pretty much died at this point. But I mean, I guess I shouldn't really give shit to people who are still making videos that that are within a dying community on YouTube when I still make rant videos in 2025. No wonder they didn't ask for my ID. I have YouTube Premium too. Yeah, admittedly, YouTube Premium is a pretty good value for me because I use YouTube every day. and I sleep to the to a 10-hour loop of a fan. You know, that helps me sleep, and without that, I mean, I would have to keep the YouTube app on my phone running all night. But with YouTube Premium, you can lock your phone, and the video is still playing in the background. So, YouTube Premium does have a lot of value for me as someone who does use YouTube in his day to day life. And, I watch a lot of content. And again, YouTube helps me sleep. Nintendo lost a bit of respect for me when they give a cease and desist to SML. Who's SML again? Discord notification. I'm ignoring that for now. Imagine some Gen Alpha kid born in December 2024 bullying a Gen Beta kid in January 2025. Yeah, I'd imagine that might happen. I mean, the jokes just write themselves. Gen Beta, come the fuck on. Not saying like any Gen Beta kid deserves to be bullied, but I mean like it's just such an unfortunate name for an entire generation with all the fucking stupid beta, alpha, sigma memes that are so popular online. It's just like an inevitability. Definitely check out their solo work. It's quite good. Surge's solo work and Jerry Cantrell's. Yeah, I mean, I've heard some of Surge's solo work. I like quite a bit of his Elect the Dead album. Never heard it in full, but I do like quite a bit of the songs from that album. So I'm already somewhat familiar with Surge's solo work, and I also like Scars on Broadway, Darren's band. Uh, besides System of a Down, I didn't hear the recent Scars on Broadway album yet, though. I heard the first two, but I still have to get around to listening to the new one. I saw a T-shirt that said Tony Soprano's Italian American Wasteland, and it was styled like Tony Hawk's American Wasteland art. Well, that's cool. Um, I should get a proper Sopranos shirt. I do have a Talking Sopranos shirt, which is a podcast two cast members did during COVID that I really enjoyed. My favorite show of all time. There's a skin you can unlock in The Last of Us where Ellie is wearing a Sopranos shirt. I've had quite a few Last of Us playthroughs where she's wearing that, and it's kind of amusing. Rob Renzetti, the creator of My Life as a Teenage Robot, said that he didn't intend Jenny, the protagonist of the show, to be trans, but is glad that trans fans of the show relate to her. Yeah, I know. The protagonist, Jenny, is kind of a trans icon, which is cool. It's also cool to see that the creator is supportive of it. I didn't really pick up on any you know, references or at least inadvertent references to being transgender on the show back when I saw it as a kid because I didn't really understand any of that back then, and I have never been trans, so I don't really. I most certainly didn't understand what it was like to be trans back then, or pick up on any references to that back then. The Game Boy Color game is called Conker's Pocket Tales, which released 2 years before Conker's Bad Fur Day. back in 1999. Oh, it came before Conker's Bad Fur Day. I didn't know. I thought Conker's Bad Fur Day was the first Conker game. I didn't know that. Conker never got re-released on Virtual Console and isn't on Switch Online. Oh. Maybe someday I'll play it on an emulator or something. I don't know. It's not really on my bucket list of games that I need to play or anything. I mean, I've heard good things about Conker's Bad Fur Day, so I'm not opposed to ever playing it, but it's not a game I'm dying to play or anything. Switch Online has a 17 plus app for M-rated N64 games. Really? I actually didn't know that. How many M-rated N64 games even are there? And how many of them actually got re-released on the Switch? Are there really that many M-rated N64 games where a whole app is necessary? I know the GameCube doesn't really have that many M-rated games, and it has only a slightly bigger library than the N64 did. It's mostly the Resident Evil games, Eternal Darkness, Geist, and some other ones. I have Blood Rain, I think. I have that game, and I don't really care for it that much, admittedly. Oh, yeah, Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes. That one's M-rated as well. Oh, Killer 7 as well. I kind of forget that game. Fucking love that game. So I do have quite a bit of. Am I back? It said the stream disconnected, but no one's saying anything in the chat, so I don't know if that was weird. Did the stream go down for any of you? It said got the oh snap page on my end. Anyway, I have quite a bit of the M-rated GameCube games in my collection, but I know there's not that many of them. Like maybe like 20 at most. Fuck, where did I leave off? uh Nah, Bad Fur Day wasn't on the Wii U, but the developers for that game switched from Nintendo to Microsoft back in 2002, so you can play Conquer on Xbox One. Well, I mean, Banjo-Kazooie at least is on the Switch's online service, I think, and it was also on the Wii U's Virtual Console, I think, and that's a rare game as well. So I figured maybe even Conquer got re-released as well, but apparently not. I saw a woman at the grocery store today. I can't believe they made grocery shopping woke. Woman bad. I bet the anti-woke community would cry about the solo character of Reba Myers, Code Orange guitarist and singer. Solo career of Reba. I don't know. I don't think I know who that is. I think I might have heard of Code Orange, though. There's a Jimmy Neutron PC game where you go to Area 51. I never heard of that game. Sounds interesting. I remember that meme years ago, like what, 7 years ago, where people were going to go raid Area 51. How many people actually did that? Anyone even remember that? SpongeBob is okay, I guess. I liked the older seasons. Jimmy Neutron is also decent too. I love the early seasons of SpongeBob. I just hate how SpongeBob gets milked to death by Nick, which drains my interest in the show. Well, I really just pay attention to, the golden seasons, the first three, the pre-movie seasons. I mean, of course, there's some good stuff here and there after the movie. I'm not going to say there no good episodes were ever made post movie, but obviously the first three seasons are really where it's at. Sad what is happening to the cartoonscape at the moment due to Zoslav. Yeah, just recently, Courage the Cowardly Dog got axed from HBO Max, which really saddens me. It was one of the last few Cartoon Network shows standing, or maybe even the very last one. I don't remember exactly, but it was definitely at least one of the last ones still on there, and now that's gone. And yeah, I'm probably gonna buy the complete series box set one of these days, or at least whenever I feel like rewatching the show again. I really only watch it once a year. I did that with Ed, Ed, and Eddie a few months ago because I think it was last year they removed Ed, Ed, and Eddie off of HBO Max, which also saddens me because Ed, Ed, and Eddie is a close second behind Courage the Cowardly Dog in terms of my favorite cartoons. Yeah, for some reason that guy has a raging, throbbing hate boner for cartoons, and I will never understand it. Invader Zim and SpongeBob are my favorite Nicktoons. I hear endless good things about Invader Zim, and I think I've only seen a few episodes of Invader Zim, and I barely remember anything about them. I was never interested in Invader Zim as a kid. I only saw these episodes online when I was around 13 or 14. I probably should get into Invader Zim because I really like Courage the Cowardly Dog, and Invader Zim I hear is like similarly disturbing and scary like Courage was. The move to Warren County will be my third move in my life. So, how is the moving process for you, personally? Is it as horrible as people say it is, or usually say it is? Go Animate was the skibbity toilet of my generation. Yeah, that's kind of true, I guess. I mean, there's brain rot content for older Gen Z, pretty much. Well, not older Gen Z, but like maybe like kids who were born in the mid to late 2000s. I remember when Caillou got grounded for misbehaving at Chuck E. Cheese's and got grounded for a gazillion years. Those were the days. Yeah. Content that I again never cared for when it was in its heyday. And that's why I made those rant videos back then talking about how much I didn't like that content. It was just the same thing over and over again. Some people do think Mona Lisa had something to do with it. After what happened to her, I wouldn't fully be shocked. Yeah, I personally have my suspicions as well when it comes to her potentially being involved in her current husband disappearing after what happened to her previous husband. And that if it does come out that she was involved with, her current husband disappearing, I think that would probably put into question, if what happened to her previous husband really was an accident or really was just a YouTube stunt gone wrong. I'd watch a video from you talking about it. Well, I mean, it's been almost a year since he disappeared, and as far as I know, there's been no updates or anything that links her involvement, at least not yet. So I have no reason to make a video about that, at least not right now. The recent Scars on Broadway album came out on Darren's 50th birthday. Yeah, I know. I saw some people on the System of a Down Reddit page who mentioned that. SML is a Plus channel formerly known as Super Mario Logan. Oh, yeah, that guy. I've heard of him. Never watched him, though. You say he got a cease and desist from Nintendo? Yeah, the dude made his name off playing with Nintendo plushies, right? Yeah. Nintendo's just a fucking horrible company. Only 4 games are on the mature N64 Switch app. Yeah, I guess I can understand why they would separate the M-rated titles from the family-friendly titles. But I just find it funny they made a whole app just for 4 games. How many games in total were M-rated on the N64? Can't be that many, right? Because the N64 didn't have a large library at all. It could have had a few more M-rated titles than it had. Resident Evil Zero was originally developed as an N64 title, but then it was moved over to the GameCube. Same with Eternal Darkness. That was going to be an N64 title originally, before development was switched over to the GameCube. Eternal Darkness is so good. Very underrated horror game. We back. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I was just, just talking, and then all of a sudden I got the dreaded "oh snap" screen. I was like, "Oh shit! Did the internet go out during stream again?" But then I clicked reload, and then there was a little button saying "reconnect stream," and I did that, and back to normal now, I suppose. There's not going to be that much left of the stream, though. An hour and 48 minutes. I usually head out at the 2 hour mark, 2 hour and 5 minutes, whatever. So 17 minutes left of me streaming, I suppose. Turok 2, Perfect Dark, and Shadow Man. Are those other M-rated GameCube titles? Yeah, the GameCube didn't have that many M-rated titles. Nintendo really fucked themselves with the small discs that the GameCube had. I'm not gonna say like the GameCube could have sold as good or nearly as good as the PS2 did. The PS2 was such a behemoth that I don't think Nintendo could have done anything to beat out Sony that generation. But I'd imagine they would have had at least the GameCube would have at least had slightly better third-party support if it didn't have the small discs. Like maybe we could have gotten the GameCube could have gotten more Konami games than just a Metal Gear Solid remake, for example, or other Capcom games that came out during the 6th generation that didn't come out on the GameCube, like the Devil May Cry games. That's easily my biggest gripe with the GameCube. My favorite console of all time, but the small discs were a very big blight that you just can't ignore. I saw a good video recently, called something like the revisionist history of the GameCube or something, where the uploader did go over the flaws of the GameCube and what held the GameCube back that generation, and didn't analyze the GameCube with the nostalgia goggles that people usually view it with. which I appreciated. It lagged for a split second. Well, thankfully, thankfully it was only that. I figured probably on your end you got the stream offline screen or whatever. But if it was just that, then that's good, I suppose. Look up Reba Myers. She's currently on tour. She was actually just in NYC. Maybe I will. I used to watch SML as a kid back in 2012. I only heard of SML, Super Mario Logan, whatever, but I don't think I've ever actually watched any of his videos. Don't know anything about them besides it's just, a dude playing with Nintendo plushies or whatever. No one I knew in school cared about his content because I think when he was big, I was already a teenager, so didn't really appeal to me or anyone in my age group. I don't know if this is a hot take, but I like season 4 of SpongeBob and consider it part of the golden era. I don't know if I'd really call it a hot take, but I'm sure there are people who would disagree with you. Because I think a lot of people consider season 4 to be when the show, declined in quality. Which I don't know. I mean, I don't even remember what episodes specifically were on season 4. But there were still quite a bit of post movie episodes I enjoyed, and I'm sure quite a bit of those episodes were season 4 episodes. Season 4 is the first season without Hillenberg, right? He left after the movie, I think. I usually binge all of Courage in October. I binge Courage again once a year, but never like a set month or anything, just whenever I feel like watching Courage. SpongeBob is my favorite Nicktoon. Yeah, SpongeBob is my favorite Nicktoon too. As generic as that is to say, I don't care. I mean, the first 3 seasons of SpongeBob, I mean, some of the best, some of the best of what cartoons have to offer, in my opinion. What is your opinion on the PlayStation 2? I don't really have much of an opinion on the PlayStation 2 because I never owned one. My father owned one as a kid. I remember playing on his PlayStation 2 a few times as a kid. I don't remember what games I played on the PlayStation 2, but I know my father owned one. He played it quite a bit back then. He still plays games quite a bit today, but he's not a PlayStation player anymore. He actually really fucking hated the PlayStation controller. He had a PS1, a PS2, and then he made the switch to Xbox during the 7th gen, and he has never looked back. He owned a 360, he owned an Xbox One, and I think 2 years ago he finally got a Series X. He's tried to convince me to switch over to Xbox, but I'm like, nah, I'm happy with my PS5. Thank you. When we moved where I currently live 10 years ago, I was still in school and didn't really take part in it. We don't have an official move-in date for Warren yet. I see. HBO Max is going to get rid of the anime Your Name soon, and more anime content licensed to distributor G Kids later in 2025 and during 2026. Yeah, again, the CEO Zaslav, he really seems to fucking hate animated content, and I just don't understand why. Like, I know he's the CEO of Discovery, the fucking network that produces garbage reality TV slop. like 90 Day Fiance and My 500 Pound Life or whatever. So I know that's more his forte, but Jesus fucking Christ, I'm sure like animation isn't isn't like this niche um genre of in media that is something you can just easily write off and mass purge off your service without any sort of outcry. I'm a year older than you. My birthday is January 4th, 2000. Oh, wow. Very early in the year. My birthday is March 20th, 2001, so you're just a little over a year older than me. Her husband's family thinks she had something to do with it. Oh, the husband's family, Lon Mona Lisa's husband's family. Ugh, yeah. Again, I don't want to say anything like definitively because as far as I know, there's nothing concrete at least that that points to her being behind her husband's disappearance. But I mean, she already has one dead husband that supposedly died during a YouTube stunt gone wrong, in which she fired a gun at him. And again, if it does come out that she had at least a part in her husband disappearing, her current husband disappearing, then that really does beg the question: like, was her previous husband's death really just a YouTube stunt gone wrong? Really gets you thinking. I think the N64 had 28 M-rated games, so I think that's more than the GameCube. I think I don't know. I remember seeing a list a while ago that listed every single M-rated GameCube title, and it really wasn't much. Again, it was mostly Resident Evil games and other games I have in my collection, like Eternal Darkness, Killer 7, Metal Gear Solid, Twin Snakes, Blood Rain. I'm not sure how many M-rated GameCube games there are. I'm not sure if there's a definitive list of all of them, but I know the true crime games along with Mortal Kombat games are among them. Yeah, there is a list that I saw a while ago that I can probably find now. M-rated GameCube games. No, this is actually a pretty sizable list. It's just a comment on Reddit, so I don't know if this is all of the games. No, around 30. Just did a little quick count of all the games that are listed here. I mean, obviously that's not a huge amount of M-rated games, but definitely a little bit more than I thought there were for the GameCube. A lot of these games I have not played, and I don't really have much. I don't really have any plans to play them. Or really, aside from Geist, I am interested in playing that game. That's the only other Nintendo licensed M-rated game that was on the GameCube. The other being, of course, Eternal Darkness. I've kind of held out on Geist though because I hear very mixed things about that game. Some people say it's not very good. Other people say it's a hidden gem. But you know what? I might bite the bullet someday and try it out. Why not? I pretty much have all the GameCube games I really want in my collection at this point. Why not try out the more obscure and weirder titles that people have more mixed opinions on? True Crime was a GTA clone where you play as a cop. Yeah, I've heard of those games. I've seen some gameplay clips of the ones that were on GameCube, at least. Don't really have much interest in playing those games, though. I'll never forget the Mona Lisa story. Some of the most ignorant people out there. Yeah. I mean, if it is to be believed that her husband just wanted YouTube clout and, thought, being shot with a magnum, holding a thick encyclopedia would stop the bullet from a fucking magnum. Yeah. Darwin Award right there. A new Bubsy game is coming soon. That's how you know nostalgia culture has really gone too far when people are nostalgic for fucking Bubsy. I'm half joking. Yeah, I did hear rumblings about a new Bubsy game, though. I remember seeing years and years ago, like 10 plus years ago, watching reviews and gameplay footage of Bubsy 3D, known as, I believe, one of the worst games ever made. Never played it, though. I don't really have much interest in playing it on top of that. In the video, Pedro said, I don't care if I die, I'll be ready for Jesus, not even thinking about his kid or pregnant girlfriend. Once again, Darwin Awards. Like, complete fucking idiot. I remember when Plumbers Don't Wear Ties got a port to modern systems. Oh, yeah, it did. I should buy that. Maybe even do a stream playing it. I don't know. That'd be fun. At least for me. I don't know if anyone would be interested in watching that, but I might be interested in doing that someday. I don't know. I am now the same age he was, 22. I'm 2 years older than that. I'm 24. I forgot he was so young when he did that. For some reason I misremembered. I thought he was a little older, like 26. But no, I'm older than he was when him and La Mona Lisa did that. I'm assuming I'm also older than she was at the time as well. Fuck. What's also a big whiplash to me was when I made that video talking about my me being an OBA fan back in the day, was me realizing I'm now older than OBA was when he first made his OBA video, when he first made his Miiverse videos. Whoa. Because he was like 21, 22 when he first started doing the Miiverse rants. I'm 24 now. Fuck. So I'll make him 35 now. Or at least approaching 35. I think his birthday is in what, November? Wow. Jesus. Take your damn clothes off. Yeah, I remember that quote. He would have been 30 this year. Mona Lisa is now 27. Now she's just a few years older than me. 3 years older. So that would have made her 19 when she shot her boyfriend or husband, whatever the relationship was at the time. Even if Miiverse was still a thing today, I wouldn't use it at all. I'd probably use it, like, if Nintendo were to announce, like, Miiverse is coming back on the Switch and Switch 2, I'd probably, like, dick around on it a little bit here and there, but I would certainly not be active on it like I was when I was, 12, 13, and some of when I was 14. Because I'm 24 now, I don't need Miiverse in my life, and again, I probably, like, shitpost on it here and, every now and then, but, aside from that, I wouldn't bother with it. I remember when the AVGN reviewed Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. That's like his magnum opus review. Definitely my favorite AVGN review. Technical issues again. Everything is fine on my end. Yeah, I wish I spanned Miiverse on its last day just for the lulz. That's what a lot of people were doing on the last day. Uh, I think I think there was no moderation anymore on the last day, so people were like just spamming dick drawings and shit like that. Yeah, or cursing. I think there was, again, like there was no moderation on the final day or the final few hours at least. Yeah, 2 hours and 6 minutes. That's a good place to end the stream, I think. Anyway, thank you all for watching this stream. I had fun. Really did have fun. I love interacting with the stream chat for 2 or so hours every month. And yeah, thank you to all who were here previously. Thank you to all who are still here. Well, really, 2 people at this point. God, I can't imagine watching myself for laying in bed for 2 hours. Shit. Anyway, take care, and yeah, next stream will be sometime in September. Uh, any random Friday in September. Anyway, bye.